It is 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 5 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 15th of August in the year of our Lord 2024. Season 15, episode 6, 675 times. You have been welcome to the Clubhouse podcast, your one-stop shop for all things sports, pop culture, entertainment, and pro wrestling. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse podcast, and man, I thought we were done with a lot of content this week, and then D23 happened. Don's still out on assignment. He will be back the week after next, but I am not by myself because we're going to do that. Hold on. That way from me. I had to get it right. He is my co-host and a man whose shirts, even with this, as cool as this shirt is, his is cooler than mine. He is Alex. Hey, man.
I don't know if it's really cool, but it is important because mental health is a very serious matter of health. But I also got to say, like, Don constantly out on assignment, but really it's just teasing our brother because tonight's a really good one because we have to say happy birthday, Faith Ford. Hope you're having a great day.
That was the first thing on the run sheet. So, and when I say cool, I mean, I think it's cool that you are wearing it to bring awareness. I think it's great that you are able to do that. So, mental health, very, very important to both of us on multiple fronts. Let us dive right into sports. I forgot about Hard Knocks. I watched it today, episode 2 with the Chicago Bears. Again, not falling for the rope-a-dope, but there are some really good stories that are coming out of this. That they played well against Buffalo. They looked pretty good, 33-6 there. Yeah, and I'm gaining a little bit more respect for him every time there is an episode of that show because he looks like he's got the want to. I was a fan of him in college, just not who he played for. At the end, in the beginning, like I got no problems with Oklahoma. It's just USC wears me out. Yeah. But I like where things are going. I like the fact that I still get to say Eberflus, so that brings me joy. Again, I'm not going to fall for the rope-a-dope, but you'll find out more about that next week because next week we will do our first of 2 season previews for the NFL as we get ready for life to be back to normal for a few months.
But don't call us liars because it'll actually be 2 weeks because next week will be the AFC, then the NFC, correct?
That's why I said we start next week.
I wanted to cut off any potential trolling of y'all said it was going to be this week. No, shut up.
Next week we start the preview because if you are a longtime fan of this show, remember we tried to do the whole league once. It was a forever show. So we are going to do
it twice. We didn't learn the first time.
Yeah. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Yes.
Yup.
But we will start that next week. So Don will be with us on the following week, and that'll be okay. Because we might have a special guest. I got to reach out. There's somebody I mentioned it to that was interested, and I need to reach back out to that person to see if they want to join us next week.
And I spoke to that person today.
Oh, did you? Okay, perfect. JJ McCarthy, unfortunately, out for the season. I was really looking forward to seeing what that kid was going to do. And, just the games don't count, but the injuries do.
But I have to ask, because torn meniscus is something that people have come back from in a shorter period of time. What are the odds that this is Minnesota understanding a rebuild and knowing that their defense, despite being very good and having an amazing coach in Brian Flores, little teaser for a couple of weeks from now, is just going, 2025 is a real defense-heavy draft class. You know what, JJ? We're going to go ahead and redshirt you, but you're getting paid millions of dollars, so it's kind of okay.
I mean, I'm Minnesota's a team that I always keep my eye on.
You have to pull for a team that's never won a Super Bowl, at least on some level.
And, Justin Jefferson. I just love watching that kid play. I just do.
And just for having, and fully guilty on my side, and I mentioned it before, having a thought of what I expected him to be as a person and then seeing him in receiver, and I'm like, no, that dude's good. We're cool. I got it.
But it was a pretty good episode this week.
Okay.
The God Bless the USA kid. There is a follow-up during I think it's a rookie meeting because Caleb was in the room. He gets up, says who he is, gives his signing bonus, and goes, "Life updates." And that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not saying anything else because you have not watched the episode yet. But I am intrigued though because they haven't done, although they redid some stuff in the open. So, like, you know how like the first week of the open it was really basic, but it was like going through, and I may have missed it in the first episode, but I caught it now. It starts out with John Facenda.
Oh.
It's what they've done with the open. They're on a boat and they're going through Chicago, and there's just images that they're superimposing on buildings, and it's different commentators saying different things about the Bears, but it starts out with John Facenda, and I was just like, okay, everybody shut up. I need to watch this.
So, but they had the boats and the imagery in the first one.
Right, but I don't remember the voiceover.
Okay. I had genuinely had a question because I was like, wait, was it not in the live broadcast, but was it in the Max broadcast that I watched? I was confused.
I don't know because I don't remember I remember like it was the
I just meant the imagery.
But but I also like the still image of it of the players, and the football looks like the bean sculpture. I think that's
that was really a cool touch. But you know what? We've said it every year. The team that does Hard Knocks is so good. They are so amazing at getting such good stuff ready, but stuff like that, when you give them time, it reminds me of, Hannibal in the A-Team movie. Give me a week and I'm good. Give me a month and I'm unstoppable.
And you have the rookie moment with their other first round pick, the receiver.
Rome Odunze, who is an incredible talent who will be not useful.
I'm going to be excited to watch him. I'm going to be watching him for sure, but yeah.
Oh, when we were watching, Sean actually watched the Giants one in the prep for me. She's looking at it going, your team's taking a receiver. I hope it's that guy. I hope it's Rome. And then they took Malik Neighbors, and she just looked at me and went, stupid.
But I like that kid too.
I do. He's really talented. They both are.
Let's go through your week 1 preseason scores. New England beats Carolina 17-3. Your Giants got the win, 14-3 over Detroit. The Dolphins beat Atlanta. That was a very low-scoring game in the first half. Houston over Pittsburgh 20-12. Eagles beat the Ravens. The Commanders lose to the Jets. Choke. But Chicago does, like we talked about, 33-6 over Buffalo. The Raiders get eked out by Minnesota by a point. Green Bay almost 2 touchdowns over Cleveland. Tampa Bay, who announcing today are now in an official partnership with the University of South Florida.
Nice.
Go Bulls. Very excited about that. They beat Cincinnati by a field goal. Jacksonville put doubles up on Kansas City, but don't let that tell you anything. Tennessee beat San Francisco by 4. Ditto on that. Not the Clippers. Right city, wrong team.
Might as well be at this point.
Same. Chargers lose to Seattle by 13. New Orleans beats Arizona by a field goal. The Rams beat Dallas by a point, and from what I've heard, that game was a snoozer.
Yeah, and here's the funny part. The score to win the game was with 4 seconds left. And somebody may or may not have cashed an $80,000 ticket on that.
Allegedly.
I sold
and then Denver by 4 over Indy. Also, I do want to tell you there's a funny moment towards the end of this week's Hard Knocks that you'll have to ask me after you watch it, because something happens during the game and it's addressed after the game, and it made me giggle. Right now, currently going on, New England just scored a touchdown, so with the extra point, they will be up 10-3 over.
Sir, we can't diminish that. That was Drake May, number 2 overall pick, running in his first touchdown of his career.
Oh, wow. Look at that for 4 yards. Yeah, it'll be 10-3 with just past the 2-minute warning in the first half. Coming up on no game tomorrow, but on Saturday, Atlanta will go play Baltimore. I can't say go to because they don't always play in their stadiums, so it's weird.
At this point, I believe they do.
Oh, are they? There's only 3 games.
So. Right. Okay. No, but what I'm saying is that the the history previously where they would host games in other places outside of the Hall of Fame game. I believe every preseason game is now played in the home stadiums.
Perfect. Cincinnati goes to Soldier Field on Saturday. That's at noon Central. The other game at 11. That's the only 11 a.m. game. The only other noon game Central on Saturday as New York goes to Houston. At 3 o'clock on Saturday, Detroit goes to Arrowhead. Minnesota goes to Brown Stadium, which just hosted SummerSlam. Let's see. Seattle will go to Tennessee at 6 o'clock Central Time. Also, Saturday night, you'll have Arizona at Indy, Washington at Miami, and then Buffalo at Pittsburgh, New York at Carolina.
I'm sorry, where is Buffalo and Pittsburgh playing?
At Pittsburgh.
Oh, Acupuncture Stadium?
Yes.
Okay.
Assurity Stadium.
Yes.
The Rams will play the Chargers. My money's on LA. Let's see. It's 6:30 Saturday night. Tampa Bay will go up the road to Jacksonville. Dallas will be at Vegas at 9 p.m. Saturday night. I hate when people do that, and I just did it. 9 p.m. Saturday night. We've already established that it's Saturday night because I said p.m. Then at 7 o'clock in the evening on Sunday, Green Bay will go to Denver, and New Orleans will go to San Francisco. That is your preseason week 2 schedule. And remember, next week, the next 2 weeks, we dedicate as much of the show as possible to the NFL. Now, I will still take notes on wrestling just in case, but I'm prepared to.
Yeah, because we will cover a lot. But the other thing we have coming up is if you have to realize these games, like as you said, games don't count, the injuries do. But next week, we will have football games that count, but not at the pro level.
Football.
And I'm so excited for this.
The Savannah Bananas with a couple of big announcements this past week. They have struck a deal with TNT Sports because they're losing the NBA to broadcast 5 Friday night Banana Ball games live. I was at an establishment a couple of Friday nights ago, and they were on the ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
So the Savannah Banana is getting a lot of love, and I'm here for it. And you said there's something else coming with that?
You're gonna have to remind me. I think you covered what I was saying. They had talked about doing a documentary piece along with it. So Behind the Banana, I want to say was the working title that they said. But when you look at it and you're like, well, if you don't know anything about this and you're like, well, why are they doing that? I want to point out something. The Savannah Bananas have been doing a tour of major league stadiums and have sold out more stadiums than the A's have in the last decade.
Yeah, they're fun.
It's crazy.
It's an experience.
Have you ever seen the fan rule though?
I have not.
Okay, so because it's the Savannah Bananas versus the Party Animals. If a party animal hits a foul ball into the crowd and the attendance or the fan catches it, it's an out.
So are they the Washington Generals?
Essentially. Well, okay. I don't know that it's that unbalanced, but yeah, that's a good analogy.
All I know is whenever a guy comes out and his bat's on fire, let's go. I'm here for
it. But having celebrities involved, the one that gets me every time, and it just speaks to what a drama nerd I am at heart. Have you ever seen The Greatest Showman entrance?
I have not.
Okay. Homework assignment for everybody else. I promise it's short because they will do scripted entrances like the flaming bat and things like that. One of them does the entire from now on, from the outside of the stadium through the crowd up to the plate. And the umpire is in on it, and he's amazing too. It's just it's if you hate the Savannah Bananas, we can't be friends. That's my rule from now on.
On a complete non sequitur, I don't know if you saw something I reposted last week, but I'm a big fan of drone videos.
Yeah, same.
And when they're done well, somebody did one. It's about 3 minutes long, like 3 full minutes, going in and out of about every establishment on Fremont.
You sent this to me.
It is fantastic. fantastic.
Yes, it is.
The city of Vegas actually reposted it yesterday.
Oh, good.
And it's, I mean, the video's clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Go check it out. It's fantastic. I'm a big fan. Let's get to your statistics. In the AL East, Toronto is 7 games below 500.
To clarify, anybody watching, he meant baseball statistics.
Standings.
Or
That's
standings, baseball standings.
Yes.
That was way off.
Just remember, kids, there's no wheels on this show. We drive on axles for an hour and a half. The Toronto Blue Jays are 7 games below 500. They're 14 and a half back in the division, and they've won 3 in a row. They are 2.5 back on the Rays. The Rays now 4.5 back on Boston. Boston's now 7 back on Baltimore, but Baltimore's only a half game back on the Yankees. They're keeping pace because they're both 6-4 in their last 10. So in the AL Central, Chicago will get there. Detroit is currently 13.5 games out of first. They're 7.5 back on Kansas City. The Royals now a game and a half back on Minnesota. Minnesota's now 4.5 back on Cleveland. By the way, Cleveland's on a 5-game heater. In the AL West,
before we move off of that, somebody posted a comparison of the last 4 pitchers to win the Cy Young as a reliever compared to Emmanuel Clace, who is the closer for the Cleveland Guardians. He's better. It's pretty unseemly.
They're 72 and 49 right now.
Yeah, they're playing great baseball without having a genuine star, unless you consider Jose Ramirez a genuine star.
In the AL West, we're going to be somewhere next year team. They're 14 back in the division. They're a half game back on. The Angels are now 4 back on the Rangers. The Rangers now 5.5 back on Seattle. Seattle's 3 back on Houston. At this point in the game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 18 teams in the American League are guaranteed to not hit the century mark in losses. At this point.
Yeah.
In the middle of August.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, one of them ain't the White Sox. In the National League, in the NL West, Colorado's still bad. They're 27 back in the division. They are 17 back of San Francisco. The Giants are now 8 back of San Diego. Padres and Arizona are tied. They are both 2 back on the Dodgers. By the way, Arizona's on a 6-game heater. Pittsburgh is not. They've lost 10 in a row.
Actually, before we get off the NL West, I learned a fact the other day.
Please do.
Because I had nothing but time.
I enjoy those very much.
There was a breakdown of all of the major league teams whose highest strikeout, their strikeout king, which means only strikeouts for on that team. I was shocked at some of the names on there. Nolan Ryan led 2 teams. Neither of them were the Rangers. And I'm related to the Giants' all-time strikeout leader.
That is new information.
I don't know that it is. I just don't know that he was. I didn't realize Christy Mathewson was still the leader for the Giants.
It's information to me.
No, fair enough.
Again, Pittsburgh's dropped 10 in a row. They are now 8 games below 500. But oddly enough, their run differential is only a -31. And they're 2 back on the Cubs. The Cubs are now a game and a half back on the Cardinals, who are tied with Cincinnati, but they are both 9 back on Milwaukee. Cincinnati's won 4 in a row. St. Louis has lost 4 in a row.
And your blurb for just before that 4-game stretch, arguably one of the greatest Reds players of all time, Barry Larkin, went off on the team being far too talented to be that. Well, we can't say that word on this show.
That not good.
Yeah.
And the division that matters, the NL East, the Marlins are still terrible. They are 25 and a half back in the division. They're 10 back on the Nationals. The Nationals are now 7 back on your Mets. Your Mets are only 2
Seattle.
back. Your Mets are only 2 back on the Braves, and the Braves now 6.5 back on Philly.
Thanks to Seattle.
So, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'll round your Mets up on this. 3, 4. There's only 7, 8. So it's basically the same number in both leagues. 8 teams in the National League, 3 of which they would have to lose every game for the rest of the season. So I'm counting that, including the Mets, because the Mets are at 62 wins. So actually that guarantees, because it's 162, not 163. So there's 8 teams also in the National League that cannot finish the century mark in losses.
I believe the Mets might be beyond that with a win today, unless they lost.
They lost today because they're on a 1-game losing streak, is what it says.
Oh,
they're 62 and 59 though. So you've got the 62.
Yeah, but I would settle for a winning record, because I don't know the last time we did, unless you have to go back to 2015.
Agreed.
Yeah,
because especially as it pertains to North America's favorite game show.
See, that was seamless.
What is the run differential for the Chicago White Sox as per normal?
Oh, okay. I didn't realize you were pausing. I thought you literally cut out. We're going wire to wire. We're so going wire to wire.
No, there's no thought in my mind at this point. I haven't said anything yet. I haven't said anything about their stats for a purposeful reason.
Oh, I hate that, because my brain wants to work on math. And I think I said like 230 last time, something like that. And I'm pretty sure that they've been getting their butt kicked after winning 1 game for Grady Sizemore. So I'm going to go like 244.
The Chicago White Sox are currently 29 and 93. The closest team in losses to them is going to be Colorado at 44 and 78. That is a 238 win percentage. They are currently. Do you just want to guess how far back they are in the division?
No, I don't, because I'm only looking at something specific, because I literally pulled it up because I had to see something.
No, I'm asking if you're
going to say it.
If you want to guess how far back they are in the division.
You didn't understand what I said.
Oh, you do. So you did see it?
Yes.
Okay. They are 43 and a half games back in the division.
Now, I was confirming the losses, which is why I saw how many games back they were. I just want to see how easily we're going to be like, oh, it's going to be a tight squeeze. They might lose 100 before.
No, there's 100 before the month. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, I'm looking at their games upcoming.
100 losses by Labor Day, I will be shocked. This is church. They're playing to finish in the middle of August. That's all I'm saying. And then probably even before this.
You know what? I'm going to say it's probably about a week before September, because what I wanted to look at who they're coming up against in their next few series, because it's only 7 games. And let's just say their next 3-game series is on the road against the Astros, who are trying to fight for a playoff spot. Then they got 3 games at the Giants. Then they get to go home against the division rival Tigers, who are 30 games ahead of them.
Yep. They are 18 and 44 at home. They're 11 and 49 on the road. They're 2 and 8 in their last 10.
They might get to 105, 107 before September.
What was your run differential guess? 241?
244. I said 244.
To put this in perspective, the only other team in the entire American League that is in triple digits negative is La at 102. The Yankees are currently at a plus 118. In the National League, Miami's at minus 160. Colorado's at minus 197. Those are the only two teams in triple digits on either side. Well, no, the Dodgers are a plus 104. On August 15th, in the year of our Lord 2024, the Chicago White Sox have a run differential of minus 252.
I love that I consistently say a number that I think is too high, and it's wildly too low.
Ain't no differential high enough. Ain't no win total low enough.
Okay. We need to snippet that. That is now our business card for anybody that wants us to do a live show. Oh God, I can't even look stuff up because my eyes are full of tears now.
This is comedy, brother. And they're finally off the board and win championship numbers. They're finally, remember last week I was like, why are they even still on the board? They're officially off the board.
They're eliminated.
Let's take a breath because we got to transition into television, and we're going to talk about stuff we watched this week. TV edition. You made a prediction last week, and I did everything I could to fulfill that prophecy, and I did not cross the finish line.
That's okay.
But I am now 6 episodes deep into Shogun.
Now, I will clarify. It is not for lack of want to watch. It's that you don't do the binging.
Right.
But am I correct that you would want to get through it?
Here's my thing. I am very much enjoying Shogun. Now, what I'm digging, and I'm sure this has happened a bazillion times, but I've just never noticed it. On Hulu, you know how you have the tabs, like episodes, behind the scenes. It actually has a listing for the podcast. So on Hulu,
you froze up a little bit. Hold on. You actually froze up. The last thing that came through clear was the tabs.
So you have the tabs like for the episodes behind the scenes.
Yeah,
they actually have one for the podcast, so you can listen to the podcast on Hulu.
Nice.
And it has it's got like a slideshow of different stuff. I wish it would do stuff specific to the episode, but that's just me being wishful. And so I've watched the first 6 and I've listened to the podcast for the first 5. They're about 30 minutes a piece. And it gives you a little bit more depth. It talks to some of the actors. It's mostly hosted by one of the writer producers and 2 of the executive producers. I can't do more than 3 episodes at a time because this show is so dense. There's so much packed into 55 minutes, which is the average length of an episode. The premiere and the season finale are about an hour apiece. Plus I can't, it's not the kind of thing I can just have on in the background. I have to be completely 140% focused on Shogun because I will not. Okay, hold on. I'll wait.
No, I'm sorry. I was working on something when you pivoted. The White Sox have given up an average of 2 runs per day since opening day.
Not per game, per day, per calendar day. So they give up 2
on their day off. They give up 2 runs,
and they give up 1 every day during the All-Star break.
They give up, yeah. I'm sorry, I was in the middle of that. I didn't want to break it up.
Okay,
go for it.
But they do have a dubbed version of it, but I'm not watching the dubbed version. I want to watch it in its purest form. So you have the British and other people, Europeans, still talking English, but the Japanese are talking Japanese for the most part. Like you have, Miko who does the translating, so she speaks both. And what I really like is a lot of times you watch a show and there's a translator, and what they're translating, you're like, that's not exactly what he said. She is staying faithful to the translation. Like she adjusts where she has to, but the message is still there.
Right.
Visually,
which, spoiler alert for anybody who has not dealt with translations or translators, that is oftentimes exactly, they don't do verbatim because there's also a lot of innuendo and things that do get lost translating. So they have to interpret, which is more often why they're referred to as interpreters versus translators.
Gorgeous visually.
Oh my God, yes.
For people unfamiliar with Shogun, the only way I can describe this to you is just take The Sopranos and put it in feudal Japan. That's it. That's what this show is. Warring family, territories, and it's gangster to the hilt. No pun intended, to the hilt.
Yes, it is.
But it's, again, this is not a show that you can just kind of put on. You have to be focused completely and be immersed in what's going on, because if you're not, you miss stuff, and that stuff leads to other stuff, and then you will be confused. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, one of the ways I've described it to another person was I was able to get immersed because I really wanted to be with Shogun. Having picked up like Narcos later on, I don't speak enough Spanish to half pay attention. And unfortunately, I didn't have the time. So I had to drop Narcos. But you pay attention to this or you are toast.
And the other thing about this is, and I learned this from the first episode of the podcast, they shot the whole thing almost sequentially.
As of episode 6, non-spoiler, how much are you liking Cosmo Jarvis right now?
He's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. It's the only other thing I have seen him in. I don't want to say he wasn't this good, but he definitely wasn't this kind of a character, because I genuinely expected to dislike him on some level, not knowing the source material. But
Mike's in Seattle. Hey, Mike.
Yes, he is. And he's at dinner, so he probably shouldn't be commenting.
My thing with Cosmo, take Christopher Lambert and Tom Hardy and make them one person.
It's funny that you say that, because the other thing he was in was Peaky Blinders, which crossed over with Tom Hardy. And yeah, that's a great description. But the moment I learned his name was Cosmo, it took me about 15 minutes to let him settle in.
And what's really interesting that I've heard from the podcast too is they asked the young lady that plays Miko about their interactions, and she's like, we didn't interact much off camera because we wanted to keep the dynamic of these two characters, because again, when you shoot sequentially, you can really do that because it helps you with the character arcs. You're not shooting out of sequence. It is fantastic, but I don't think, like Shorzy, I burned through. Done.
Oh yeah.
This is something.
Shorzy is one of those ones you can just hear and move on.
Right. With this, like I said, I got 3 episodes in and stopped because I really had to process a lot. And then I got to episode 6. I'm like, okay, this is about as far as I can go. Now I will probably watch the last 4, probably Sunday.
And
I split it 2 and 2 Saturday and Sunday. Hey, Russ, because there's something else we got to talk about that's now going on this weekend that is kind of blown the wheels off of some of my plans, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But I do highly recommend Shogun. I would say watch an episode and then listen to the podcast, and because the podcast will help you kind of fill in some holes and give you backgrounds. Lady Miko is on one of them. Lady Kiko. Lady Kiko. That's her name. Miko's the main girl. And then there's Lady Kiko. It's funny. She starts out by saying, I will talk English, but at some point, I'm just going to start talking Japanese. She's just like, I can go a certain, and then they had an interpreter with her. But it's so good, and there's a reason it's got 147 Emmy nominations.
All deserved.
Yes, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how many it brings home, because man, this is good. And I was talking to a friend of the show, Brian Byrne, as I was watching one of the episodes, and he said that he had read they have enough material for at least 5 seasons, if not 6.
This is the thing I have been wanting you to get done with the show so that I can talk to you about certain things, but to pivot, because I am the degenerate of the show, Anna Sawai, the most how you doing of how you doings,
and is nothing short of crushing it.
But here's the thing: the irony is, I had not seen her in anything prior. I saw her in 2 different news shows this year, where her character is almost the same but opposite, because she is actually in. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on the Godzilla show's name? Monarch.
A monster? Okay, a monarch.
Monarch, where she plays Californian, where her father is Japanese, who has to go to Japan or various other places. And in this, she's Japanese dealing with the not American, but the English speaker. So there's that crossover. And the fact that she does both incredibly flawlessly shows you a level of talent beyond everything else. Oh, I just realized you're on episode 6. You haven't even gotten to her best scene yet.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yep, I'm not saying it.
We do want to send a quick RIP to the friends and family of Rachel Lillis, who played Misty and Jessie on Pokemon. I have a lot of people that I've interacted with in the last few years that are voice actors and had some wonderful tributes to her, including a couple of show promoters that I know. So we wanted to send something out on that. Give it just a second to set. Have you ever heard of something called Rig TV?
Never.
This is some kind of a streaming service. They are bringing back Monster Garage.
I loved Monster Garage.
I saw this week and I was like,
I know why it went away, but
I prefer Monster House, not animated movie, but they did a version of it where they would redo people's houses in themes.
I never saw that.
Oh, now there's one they did like a Christmas house, and like the last episode they went back to the Christmas house, and the lady was an absolute witch with a bee. But like this Christmas house, they turned one of the rooms into an ice skating rink.
Oh, that sounds like personally, it sounds like a nightmare as a homeowner.
But it was more like it wasn't ice, but it was just like that other kind of material.
Oh, the plastic. Okay. And it's funny because this is the second time Monster Garage has popped up in our conversations on the show in the last few months.
See, I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to find where you can stream it, but not the animated movie.
Good luck. I think you're winding up wasting showtime on that one because you're going to keep circling back to it. But for those that were wondering, we brought up Monster Garage a number of weeks ago because that was the first place. I don't know if it was we or just me. It was the first show that I saw CM Punk on because he was one of the undercover workers in the garage when they made the mobile wrestling ring.
It was on the Discovery Channel, so it might be on Max somewhere.
Okay, I'll take a look.
So, but yeah, some of the stuff they were doing on those. Russ has asked about the new Me TV Tunes channel. I have not checked it out yet, but they've got a great lineup. So,
respectfully, I don't even know what that is.
It's just basically it's a new channel that's doing all the old classic cartoons and blocks like Boomerang used to do.
Okay.
Apple TV has renewed Ewan McGregor's Long Way for season 2. So that was the show he did a couple of years ago, and then it just kind of nothing happened. CBS has announced a show that my wife she's kind of gotten into, but kind of not. Fire Country is adding Jared Padalecki in season 3.
More Padalecki is always good Padalecki.
Yes. Okay, like I said at the top of the show, D23 happened and a lot of things happened. We are not going to cover everything, I'm sure. I know for a fact we're not going to cover everything they talked about in the parks because that alone is an hour episode. I'm very intrigued by a couple of those things. They're going to have their very first original series on Disney Plus. It's going to be called Win or Lose. It's going to debut on December the 6th. They're also going to be doing a series in 2025 called Dream Productions. This is actually a spinoff of Monsters Inc. This is about where Riley's dream. I'm sorry, Inside Out, not
Inside
Monsters
Out.
Inc.
Oh, okay.
Where Riley's dreams are made.
Oh, so how it plays with the emotions and different things. That's very cool.
Daredevil Born Again will debut in March.
Did you see the blurb from Vincent D'Onofrio on that?
I did not. I just know I got to go back and watch the rest of the Netflix stuff.
So one of the questions to the entire cast in the official follow-up was, did you have to scale anything back? Because anybody that watched it on Netflix knows it was hyper violent, but it worked. It wasn't hyper violent for the sake of hyper violence. It worked in the story. They asked, D'Onofrio jumped up and went, "No, you don't understand. We went further." And I just went, "Oh, Disney ain't playing."
Yeah.
They saw $1 billion from Deadpool and went, "Greenlight everything."
They did show a trailer for Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which is being billed as Goonies in the Star Wars universe.
Starring Jude Law.
And that will start December the 3rd. What If is going to end after season 3, but there will be a Marvel Zombies show.
I saw that.
So there is that. Did you see the Simpsons thing is kind of interesting? This season, Disney Plus is going to get 4 episodes of The Simpsons that will not air on Fox. They're getting 4 exclusives, including a new Christmas episode, 2-parter that will be called "Oh Come All Ye Faithful." So keep your eyes open for exclusive Simpsons episodes, which my niece has binged the entire series over the last year. So she is big into that. Season 2 of Percy Jackson has added a lot of new cast members. Timothy Simons is joining the show to play Tantalus, and playing the Gray sisters, Kristen Shaw, Margaret Cho, and Sandra Bernhard.
Yes, and yes.
Like, I'm here for it. I may just binge season 1 just to get ready for that alone. And they have said that season 2 of Andor is coming next year. And basically what they're saying is by the time you get to the end of season 2, you will not see Rogue One the same.
Oh.
I read that today and went,
I saw some
Rogue One, don't play with me, because Andor season 1 did nothing for me.
I saw some behind the scenes pictures that came from Alan Tudyk, and we love Alan Tudyk, but it was really funny to see him just walking around on stilts in spandex.
Yes. Russ is putting in the chat room that one of my favorite game shows is coming back, The Greatness of Tic Tac Dough, hosted by the Brooke Burns, who is from Dallas.
Brooke Burns is from Dallas? I feel like I should have known that.
Yeah. I always get her and Brooke Burke confused.
Yes.
But no, Brooke Burns, I think, is the one that's from Dallas. Let's see here. HBO Max they've said they've added there's 8 new cast members that are joining season 3 of The Gilded Age, which my wife is very much a fan of. But the 2 that stood out to me are Andrea Martin, formerly of SCTV, and Leslie Uggams, who you might know as Deadpool's blind roommate.
And if you don't know Leslie Uggams as Blind Al, maybe you know her as one of the leaders of the Vault in Fallout.
Okay, there you go. Netflix has greenlit a Ghostbusters animated series that will be in line with the latest 2 films. I still, the ending of Frozen Empire. I saw a thing from What Culture today on 10 recent movies that fall apart in the 3rd act, and that one's on the list. They have renewed Supercell for season 2. That it's SUPA, so I had to say it correctly.
Yeah.
They have renewed The Gentleman for season 2,
which was awesome. I am excited for this.
Do I need to watch the movie first?
Actually, no. It's in the same style, but if you like Guy Ritchie, you just need the show. They do not connect.
Well, the reason I'm asking is, like, by watching the series first?
Unconnected.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Because I do.
That's why I'm saying it's in the same vein, but it's not the same story.
Season 7 of The Circle. I didn't realize there'd been 6 seasons of that show. Jen just started watching that. It's coming September 11th. Hold on, you get a taste of my beverage before I say this next thing. If you read the description of this week's episode, something was put in all caps. Somebody's watching this show! Because 2 weeks ago, on this very show, probably right about this very time, I made a plea. And not a premium live event. And my prayers have been answered. My prayers have been answered. Because September 15th is the day. It is a Sunday. That Heels finally makes its way to Netflix. And I could not be more excited. People, I need you with me on this.
Mm-hmm.
Watch it again. Tell your parents, tell people you know, tell people you don't know, tell people that you think you know but you don't know, tell people you don't know but you might think you know. Everybody has to watch this show because I need season 3.
Do you think it'd help or hurt if I say that I may just turn it on repeat in my guest rooms and just let it run?
Let it run. Just let it run. I am so excited. We are literally 31 days away from me finally staying spoiler free and getting to the end of season 2. I am so excited. I'm ready for this. It is putting my wrestling fan bias aside, this show is brilliant on every level. Stars canceling that series, they will rue the day. So support this show because we really do need a season 3. And Stephen Amell, like, big fan, dude. Huge fan.
Not just Stephen Amell. We have friends in that cast.
Yeah, I'm just
Alexander Ludwig. We got heck, covering myself. The wrestling choreographer of that show is a direct friend of this show. These stunt performers are friends of this show. And
we love them very much, and we want them to have work too.
Absolutely.
This show, and I think they've even like last month, I think they didn't they get a shop on Pro Wrestling Tees?
Yes, they did. They returned. Now, if you want to allow me to tell you why you should care on that, we're not just saying this because we're friends with it. You've seen Alexander Ludwig and Stephen Amell in a bunch of things. But let me tell you something else. Multiple members of that cast, just on the stunt side, are also working for Francis Ford Coppola on Megalopolis. Okay? These guys know what they're doing.
I love this show so much because it's honest, it respects the business, and it's incredibly well written. It's incredibly well shot. Everything on this show works on every level. And if you're not on board, you need to get on board.
Absolutely.
Are you familiar with Plex, which is a streaming service?
I am.
They have announced that they will be streaming all 9 seasons of the Drew Carey Show for the first time anywhere.
Nice. You want a fun fact with that one?
Please do.
Very first review I wrote of anything was the debut episode of the Drew Carey Show when I was in middle school.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And the Roku channel announced that they will be streaming the show Kate and Alley for the first time ever. You would have been very, very young when that was. And USA, we talked a few weeks ago about USA doing a television series of The Rainmaker, not Okada, the John Grisham novel.
John Grisham, yeah.
John Slattery will be playing the John Voight character.
Oh.
And I like him a lot.
Yeah.
The only thing on TV, on DVD or Blu-ray this week.
Before we get off of that, there is one other thing that we know that is premiering in September.
Go ahead.
On the 29th.
Go ahead.
Season 15 of a show that was told they wouldn't make it through season 1. And not only did they make it that far, they also had a movie that we very much enjoyed. It is Bob's Burgers, returning on September 29th.
And I did see during, you may not have seen it, but during Dynamite, they did show the commercial trailer for the Rick and Morty anime.
I have seen it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the same style of the animes that they had done before. So I am intrigued.
Only thing on TV, on DVD, and Blu-ray is the complete series of the 2018 version of Magnum PI.
Okay. I actually know people that really enjoyed that. So
the original version was a reference on John Oliver this week.
I don't even think I watched that.
Your main topic this week is the history of Hawaii.
Huh.
Very intriguing. So let's get into movies and stuff we watched this week. Movie edition. I watched a documentary the other day.
Okay.
I was just looking for something to watch, and I was on Prime Video, and I'm a big fan of documentaries, especially when they don't get real preachy. And this is one that's been on my radar since 2016, and I finally was like, you know what? I got a couple hours. I'm going to watch this. It is called Now More Than Ever: The History of Chicago, the band.
Oh.
Holy cow.
Wasn't this, before you get into it, this is the one where you told me you didn't think there was that much to it when we first talked about it, didn't you?
No, this is, last week we were talking about Air Supply.
No. I'm saying when this came up before, you had said, I don't know if there was enough for a full movie based on Chicago, similar to what you said last week on Air.
Oh, I don't remember that, but maybe I did. These dudes, why this was never a behind the music baffles me. These dudes went hard for like 15 years.
So what I'm hearing is that Adam Sandler had some inside information. And if you get what I'm referring to, speak now. If not, I'll roll with it.
I'm not quite sure what you're referring to.
Do you remember a movie called Little Nicky? No. Just for the sake of it. I'm asking if you remember it, not if you liked it.
I do. Trust.
So there is a scene where they are playing records in the apartment. And they try to play Ozzy Osbourne backwards. And they're like, hey, Nicky, what is Ozzy trying to say? And he goes, you play it forwards. The message always came straight with Ozzy. But let me show you something. And he pulls out Chicago and he starts spinning it backwards. And it goes, I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent. Accurate?
Let me tell you. One of the stories, and by the way, Jimmy Pardo does show up, but he's in the credits. Because Jimmy Pardo is like Chicago fan 1.
Oh.
Master of the Air Base. That's a true story.
I know.
They had a tour where as part of their stage set, you could see the top of a phone booth.
Okay.
So you would think, oh, it comes up. It just sat there. The reason it just sat there is that's where they could go in the middle of the show and do cocaine.
Yeah, sounds right.
I'm like, wait, back this parade up a couple of floats. These dudes went, I mean, when I say they went hard, they went hard. Like, I'm hearing these stories and I'm going, Chicago? And you will also, if you didn't know it before, and even if you do, it will reinforce the level of I love me some me that David Foster lives his life in. But I highly recommend this because it will melt. It's called Now More Than Ever, The History of Chicago. It's on Amazon Prime. I can't. I
clean after it.
It was just one of those and it was only like 4 or 5 years ago that I learned what the meaning of 25 or 6 to 4 was. And that came to me from friend of the show, Raymond Garcia. No, I thought it was just like a play like 6 to 4 is Europeans' way of like 6 times 4, but that's 24. Mm-hmm. 25 or 6-4 was Rob, who's the keyboard player. He was sitting in a hotel in the middle of the night, and it was either he couldn't remember if it was 3:35 or 3:36 or 3:34. So it would have been 25 or 5 in the morning. So it would have been 4 in the morning. So it would have been 25-4 or 26-4. It was the time. And I was like, bro, did you hurt your shoulder on that reach? Because, I mean, that's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a great song. Absolute banger of a song. But yeah, man, those dudes did some living. All right, we're already running behind, so let's keep it moving. Deadpool and Wolverine has now passed $1 billion globally.
And discussions about a sequel to that have already begun.
Oh, Lord.
I have a pitch.
Also on my agenda this weekend, Furiosa Mad Max Saga hits Max tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So the DVD
may or may not have a steelbook.
And then it'll stream tomorrow. Mufasa, the Lion King prequel that I don't know anybody that asked for, that will release on December 20th. The live-action Snow White is now set for March 21st with the Rachel Ziegler. Toy Story 5 is coming in the summer of 2026 to be directed by Andrew Stanton, and the rumor is this will be a toys versus tech story.
Yes.
So I'm very interested in that.
They actually teased some of that at D23, so it's not even a rumor. They have teased it as toys versus tech.
Elio is finally coming next summer. I saw this trailer like a year and a half ago. Their next original film will be called Hoppers, and it will have John Hamm, Bobby Moynihan, and Piper Curda in the spring of 2026. We are getting Frozen 3, Thanksgiving of 2027. We are also in development for Incredibles 3. Sure. We have a title for the third installment of Thunder Smurfs. It will be called Fire and Ash.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen what James Cameron is doing with this now?
I don't care.
No. But now he's starting to say, okay, we've laid the groundwork. Now we're going to get into it. No, it's been 6 hours, sir. Let's move on.
Not for me. It's been about 45 minutes.
I enjoyed the first one.
Did you see who has joined the voice cast for Zootopia 2?
I believe I did.
Kihei Kwan.
Yes, I did.
I loved the first one. I
very much enjoyed the first one. The first one blew me away way beyond it had any business going.
The title of the sequel is now officially Freakier Friday.
Yep.
So there's that. Lilo and Stitch is getting a live action remake.
It looked okay. They have only done a teaser, and Stitch coming through the screen looks really good.
Okay.
I mean, visually.
Friend of the show, Maddie Marr, is a big Stitch fan.
Mm-hmm.
So she might be our measuring stick there. We're getting Dwayne Johnson is bringing Monster Jam to the big screen.
I don't know how to feel about this.
Why not? We're getting The Accountant 2 in April. I liked the first one. I could see at the end how they left it open. I
never saw it.
It's pretty good. It's pretty well done. We have casting for Amazon's He-Man movie. Camila Mendez will play Tila.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in that. Let's see here. James Wan is developing a new version of the Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're getting ready for this Dark Universe thing at Universal Studios, which, man, that thing's coming together nicely.
Well, remember, they had the false start with The Mummy, so they're going to have to do something.
I didn't mind that film.
No. I didn't think it was great, but I didn't hate it.
Well, and technically that's the second film in what was supposed to be that series.
Go on.
The Dracula Rising or whatever it was actually the unofficial first one.
Dracula Rising.
Yeah, it was, or was it Dracula Uprising or something like
Wait,
that?
are you talking about Dracula Untold with Luke Evans?
I don't think so.
Because that was a long time beforehand. I don't know which one you're referring to.
Hold on, I can tell you.
I know we've gotten new images for the Nosferatu from Robert Eggers, and it looks awesome. But
you might be right, because I know it's not Dracula 2000.
oh, it's definitely not Dracula 2000. Do
It
you
might
remember who played Dracula in that movie?
Gerard Butler, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So
A
there's
man who benefited more from a beard than anyone ever has.
Fantastic Fest is coming up next month, and one of the things that will be on the agenda is Terrifier 3, and it clocks in at 2:08.
Oh, Terrifier. Oh, sorry. I heard it as Terra
Oh,
Fire. I didn't think of it as Terrifier. But I know a lot of people that loved that second one.
In what could be the weirdest story this week that hit today, David O. Russell is doing a film about the creation of the Madden video game. Did you see who's now signed on to play John Madden?
I believe I did see this.
More of a game protector. Nicolas Cage is going to play John Madden.
Why not?
I feel like that's where I'm at with everything, right? Why not? Just do it.
Yeah.
Just throw something on the screen. I don't care. But in what could be the craziest story in a good way this week, actually, we'll do this one first. We do have the title for the Megan spinoff.
I'm sorry, Mithrigan?
Yeah, it will be Solma A.T. And Lily Sullivan will be the title character.
Okay.
But did you see who's doing the music for Tron Ares?
Did you see the reveal of it?
I did.
That was dope.
Bow down before the one you serve. 9 Inch Nails is not Trent Reznor.
Now, to clarify, Trent Reznor has done some amazing work on his own.
It's not just Trent Reznor. It's 9 Inch Nails doing the music for Tron Ares. Let's go.
And I like how Jeff Bridges just lives his best life at every given moment.
And they're saying, like, you ain't ready for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're going dark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, let's do this. Movie new releases and places you get movie new releases this week. Alien Romulus. You can see Don's review for that at www.theclubhousepodcast.com.
That's our website.
Also this week, a movie called Dee Dee, which is a foreign film, and it's not about Dexter's sister. Silly Dee Dee. It takes place in 2008, and I believe they showed this at Asian Film Festival of Dallas. During the last month of summer before high school begins, an impressionable 13-year-old Taiwanese American boy learns what his family can't teach him: how to skate, how to flirt, and how to love your mom. Also this week, a very, very dark film with the Elizabeth Banks called Skincare. Have you seen anything on this?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Famed, I can never say this word. Esthetician? Did I get that right?
Esthetician. It sounds like it should be dirty, but it's esthetician.
Hope Goldman's skincare business faces sabotage when rival Angel Vergara opens a boutique across the street. Aided by friend Jordan, Hope seeks to uncover who's trying to ruin her reputation. Lewis Pullman also in this.
Lewis Pullman getting some big roles lately.
Nathan Fillion, Eric Palladino.
Did you see the
Wendy
comic
Malick's
book role that he landed?
I did not.
He is playing Sentry.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, he bulked up too.
Also this week, a movie I have reviewed on said website, My Penguin Friend with the Jean Reno.
Love Jean Reno.
So go check that out. Also this week, Close to You with Elliot Page, who stars as a trans man who returns to his hometown for the first time in years. See if there's anybody else in this of note.
I wonder if that'll feel any, if that'll be any autobiographical for him.
Oh, I'm sure that there's some elements to it. Well, he co-wrote it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is similar to
So
how Garden State for
Yeah.
Zach Braff was at least half autobiographical.
We also have Rob Peace, based on a true story. A brilliant young man puts his bright future at risk to help his father. This is directed by Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh, and he is talented at everything that man tries to do.
He's also in it along with Mary J. Blige, Camila Cabello. Let's see, Mare Winningham. Haven't seen her in a minute. I know I'm going to screw this one up, but I'm going to try real hard. Gabenga Akinabe. I know that name.
I refresh my memory on the title. I'm going to look it up.
It's called Rob Peace.
Nope, that's obscene. Okay. Rob Peace.
But Gabenga, I've heard of him. I know he's done a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, he was in the Jurassic
worked
World
with-
movies. Gabenga Akinagbe.
Also this week, a movie called Bums, lowercase b, everything else capitalized. Homeless individuals David, Peter, Frank, Broadway Vic, Mary, and Sunshine join government program aimed at reintegrating them into society after decades on the streets trying to reclaim their lives. So that's this one. The only thing on DVD or Blu-ray from a movie standpoint, the Criterion Collection is doing Not a Pretty Picture. We are running way behind, but that's okay.
Yeah, they've started releasing video clips of what you mentioned with the closet before as they ramp up on that.
I saw the one yesterday with Channing Tatum and Zoe Kravitz.
That's the one I was thinking of.
And now this. It is time for the other half of our show, your one-stop shop for all things professional wrestling. It is the Cheap Popcast, and we start with breaking news. And it's not great breaking news. I just got a DM from friend of the show, Ricardo, that we have lost Afa. Afa has passed away. The Wild is undefeated. And also, we also lost Kevin Sullivan this week.
Last week.
That is 2 huge losses in this industry.
I believe they both did Dungeon of Doom work, did they not?
He was in the Dungeon of Doom at one point. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It could be argued that Kevin Sullivan is solely responsible for keeping Hulk Hogan relevant for a while until that heel turn. Afa of the Wild Samoans, of the family. We want to send our best out to the family and friends of both of them. And we are both fans.
Absolutely.
It was announced last week during TNA Impact that Bound for Glory is set for October 26th in Detroit at the Wayne State University Fieldhouse. Would you like to turn things around and bring this back to a nice bright star, sir?
Absolutely.
Tell me you saw the picture from AT&T Stadium.
You're going to need to be more specific for me to answer that.
Every year, AT&T Stadium hosts something called Jared's Epic Blaster Battle. It's a huge Nerf.
Oh, yes.
I know people that go, and it's an absolute blast. And then there was something on the Jumbotron. Thank you, Dylan Decker from Botchamania, I believe is where he is from, for putting Joe Hendry on the Jumbotron at AT&T Stadium. I saw that picture and said, thank you, Jesus. This has gone to places that, like,
I thought we peaked with the Stanley Cup. I really thought we had the Stanley Cup.
You know what's next. I need a Times Square takeover.
Oh, absolutely. But to
And
clarify,
I mean,
Jared is actually my neighbor.
Oh, is he really?
Yes.
So
Jared,
shout out to him.
yeah.
I laughed and laughed and laughed.
Well, would you like the other little tidbit with that?
Go ahead.
That I don't even know what to call it anymore. Not Megatron, but the dear God, this is so large. I just kind of want to play Xbox on it.
Seen people that have.
I know. I'm
You
jealous.
know who the first ones that did it were?
I knew this at one point.
It was the Jonas Brothers.
I did know that.
They sat in that stadium and played Xbox on it. It was awesome.
Those screens are now 4K. As of a month ago.
I thought it would have been earlier than that, but yeah.
Nope. Somebody in this house was in that building 4 days ago and learned this.
Oh, very nice.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. But the Joe Hendry thing, God love.
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like similar with Adam Cole.
Baby.
Anytime we say Joe Hendry, or at least on some level, there just has to be in the background just.
Can I tangent for a minute?
Don't you always?
Well, I always like to ask. As you know, because I told you the other day, one of the YouTube rabbit holes I've fallen down is a channel called Jolly. And that is the same channel that you told me about. They have a sub version of their channel that does the stuff with kids reacting to American food. It's the same channel. I watched one of their studio episodes yesterday. Now, the Jolly is these two British guys that they come to America and they just road trip and they try American food for the first time. They did an entire month in Texas. My wife will watch these videos with me. Them at Whataburger is gold. But one of their studio shows from about because they've been doing this for like a decade now.
Yeah.
One of their studio shows, they had different hot sauces from around the world, and they had their hot sauce World Cup. The rules were they had to they would put it on the wing, they would eat the wing, they would if one of them decided that they wanted milk, the rule was they had to do rock, paper, scissors. The winner got to drink milk because that helps with the burn. Mm-hmm. The loser had to drink tequila.
No.
Which makes it 3 times worse.
Oh, that's so bad.
I swear to you, in 12 minutes, I had dropped to a knee. I was laughing. So if you watch any of their stuff, watch that one.
You know what the funny thing is? This is the 3rd video of theirs. You have said that exact same phrase.
I'm telling you, it's because when my wife is fully engaged in something like this, you know it's good because.
But my point is that you have consistently said, if you watch nothing else, watch this. But you don't say that lightly. So anybody that has heard you say that multiple times that may not know you as well, like one of our viewers or listeners, if you're getting the podcast on all of your podcasting apps, such as Apple or Google Store, you're not saying that lightly. You are just enjoying each stop along the way.
It is called Jolly because it's a combination of their names, Joe and Ollie.
Spell it.
Jolly, all caps.
Okay, so traditional Jolly spelled.
And it's brilliant. I watched them at a Ranger game where they got the big boomstick dog.
Oh no.
And just watching them, I haven't gotten to the Terry Black's barbecue episode that they did in Austin, but I've watched the Buc-ee's episode. The Whataburger episode's brilliant. I watched them. They were in California and went to Costco for the first time. And they got one of everything from the snack bar. And it's brilliant. It is absolute brilliance. And their average videos are like 10 to 20 minutes. So they're not a real big commitment.
They're bite-sized.
But they're great. And they don't need my endorsement because they got a bazillion followers. But I fully endorse Jolly. It's just good, wholesome fun. It really, really is. So back to the matter at hand. We found out that Yuya Uemura is out of the G1 climax. He is injured.
Oh, we love Yuya.
Couple of notes from MLW. Brock and CW Anderson will debut at Summer of the Beasts on August 29th. for MLW at the Melrose Ballroom. Also on that card, Davey Boy Jr. is out injured. He will be replaced by TJP.
Okay.
So, WWE Speed now going to have a women's title. That tournament will start on September the 4th. Okay.
I don't. No, you cut out. I don't know what you just said. I heard women's title. That was it.
Speed is going to have a women's title.
Well, they're used to only having 3-minute matches, so that shouldn't be too hard.
And the tournament starts September 4th. John Cena has officially said his retirement tour will have about 36 dates.
Well, and WWE has started sending out. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on when they ask surveys on certain aspects of John Cena's retirement, how you're going to feel, where you associate, where you like to see him now, where you like to see him before. Those are the fan council received it. And
if you haven't watched it yet, please go Google Indy Hartwell singing John Cena's theme during Sami Zayn's comedy special. It's wonderful.
But the problem is, can it ever compete with Paul Heyman?
But just watching everybody else around her react is half of it. Randy's new deal is for 5 years. He has a fee. I read the other day, he said, I'm retiring when my wife says I can.
So, good answer.
Dakota Kai is now out 8 to 10 weeks. She has a torn meniscus.
Because she can't stay healthy.
God love her.
Which is sad.
Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes is official for Bash at Berlin. I'm actually looking forward to that.
That should be a good match.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. A couple of notes from Raw. Does Pete Dunne join Imperium?
I was thinking I had that exact same note, but I also looked at it like this. I was thinking, does Pete Dunne get paired with somebody else and Imperium becomes the new United Nations?
Maybe.
Or League of Nations, excuse me.
Maybe.
But there was somebody I was trying to put with it, because as much as we love Pete Dunne, he is a smaller performer, and sometimes they can look really dwarfed by larger competitors. And I thought of somebody who is equally as talented, and I'm not saying that facetiously. In that same vein, where do you go with Charlie Dempsey? Because if you put Pete Dunne and Charlie Dempsey together, that's a William Regal special, sir.
But you got to have a mouthpiece for him.
I don't know if you do, because Gunther's doing great work with the mic.
I'm just talking about for the two of them.
Oh, for the two of them, I feel like that's a group effort, because Kaiser, unfortunately, and we may talk about Vinci because I laughed way too hard, but only me. But Kaiser has elevated to that mid-card, if not developing upward level. Gunther, we have always known, is the star.
And they recognize the 75% of the days he was with the company, he was a champion.
Which tells you that McAfee can't do math, because it's well beyond that now.
But it's still impressive.
It is wildly impressive. But if you do that, because I am a firm believer that the stable or faction warfare, as Triple H loves to book, should be done in 4s, not 3s. So you have your tag team, mid-card, top guy.
I agree 100%.
Basic math. But we've been getting a lot of three-headed monsters, we'll call it, of late. But you look at like the new Judgment Day, that is 4 plus Liv. So if you do it with 4 guys plus a girl, you're looking at covering everything across, or woman. I apologize if anybody took offense, but you're covering everything across the board. That's how you build those factions. Now, most places that rely on factions, like Japan, typically don't have men and women wrestlers in the same company, but those companies will work together at times. So it's a little bit different for WWE. Triple H would have to create that situation with factions, which I think is kind of cool for him. But I see it as something like Charlie Dempsey and Pete Dunne as your tag team, and just let them annihilate people by bending them all around. Let Kaiser be the A+ aesthetics, and then Gunther just kills people.
As far as the Vinci thing goes, just change the gimmick.
Okay, I don't have a problem with the gimmick. The reason I laughed is because I was like, I know he's in the win, because that's the encore in the background. And then when they cut to the end, when he's pulling up in the nice car, I was like, they went to the Excalibur because nobody parks on the roof. Because that was New York in the background, and it's the Excalibur across the street where nobody parks on the roof.
Change the gimmick. Like, this is the third swim we've had with this thing. Like, this dude is.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's just worth more.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because this is the first time H is doing it.
And I'm going to say this. Where is the button I need? Where is the... Oh, it's on the other page. Yes. Backstabber Balor. Pass.
I think that's a test run. Because what?
It failed. Failed miserably.
No. I don't think it's going to be Backstabber Balor. I think that the group name that they are testing to shift off of Judgment Day is the Backstabbers, and you're going to have Carlito as the senior member because what was his finisher forever?
I know.
But here's the part that also made me laugh because I was like, man, Carlito has been around a long time. And I looked it up. He's only 4 years older than Priest.
If they don't come out to the OJs, it doesn't matter. NXT, do we need to call it the Heritage Cup Championship? What are we doing? And new Charlie Dempsey.
Yeah. That is actually where I led from. But this is the first week in a long time watching NXT where I went, this was the best show of the three that we're setting up to this because SmackDown's peak severely high because OTC is back. Raw's peak, okay, we're getting teased because we're not there yet. But it was good. But that main event, the best line from McAfee was, this is a PLE main event on Mondays. Or on a Monday. And it was. But with NXT from start to finish, everything was good except for Kalani Jordan being a spare forever. And I was like, oh, thank God Wendy Chu made her unconscious. Now she might be tolerable. No, I still don't care.
Hank and Tank saying honk honk. That is gimmick infringement. David McLean would like a word.
They are so desperate for something for those guys just because
I like them. No.
That's the thing. Hank and Tank have the personality that so many members of NXT are missing. They are not as great in the ring, but then I remember they're what Heavy Machinery was years ago.
Yeah.
But they have more personality already. Well, at least more personality than Señor Take.
And we have new tag champs.
That one kind of surprised me, and then I realized why it shouldn't have been a surprise.
They telegraphed the crap out of it.
But what's your real world aspect? Because wrestling has always leaned into the real world aspect. The university wins the tag belts during back to school week.
Yeah. And I'm hearing strong rumors that Thea Hale's getting called up soon.
She deserves it. She's amazing. She is phenomenal. And I'm not being facetious.
Breaking news. Go ahead, please.
I hope they're calling up multiples because kudos to them giving Ridge Holland something to build his confidence back up because apparently part of his return to NXT was his head game was not in it after the Big E accident.
Sure.
And he's relearning to be Ridge. What was that?
I said, I'm sure. I have no doubt.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You had... You were starting to say breaking
news. I guess maybe it was closer to 6 hours ago. We know next year's All In will be in our Fairburg at Globe Life Field, which means we now know when the All-Star game is next year. Because they're going to have 2 or 3 days to lead up to everything. So, and apparently they are getting very, very good feedback in the city of Arlington. Arlington has been extremely happy with their relationship with AEW.
And Tony Khan has openly said that they are getting such good crowds and such fervor from the fans of Texas because Texas wrestling is the best wrestling. Come at me. But they are actually talking about similar to what they did with Daly's Place of having a hub based in Arlington to regularly stop at.
Nothing wrong with that. And they have struck a deal. They will be the front of shirt partner for FC Fulham's women's club.
Isn't that the club they own?
I don't know.
I believe it's the club that Cons own.
But shout out for them. Being on the front of the shirt.
They are on Fulham FCs. Yes.
So I love it. Wrestle Dream is now officially set for October 12th at the Tacoma Dome. And I don't know if you saw this thing that the deal that Triller's going to be doing.
Go on.
That you can get all in and all out together for $84.99. Just save you like $15.
Didn't see that. No.
Yeah. But that's only through Triller. So
I wonder though, because Triller previously only had external. Ooh, if we have some headlines pop up, but it's not wrestling, do we want to say anything?
If we've got breaking news, we've got breaking news. Do you need a sounder?
I think it's noteworthy.
All right. Breaking news, we go live to Rockwall, Texas.
The Los Angeles Rams have announced that Aubrey Pleasant, one of the female assistant head coaches on the team, will become the first female to head coach a game, albeit preseason, on Saturday.
Let's go. I'm here for it.
On them. I love seeing stuff like that.
Dig it. A couple of notes from Collision. I don't care if this was intentional or not. But respect to Swerve Strickland for referring to it as the eSportatorium.
Oh my God, I popped so hard when he said that.
I was I don't care if he do that or not. He's getting credit. I don't care if that was brilliant, and I am co-signing.
Well, but I am thinking it's 100% intended because Swerve has always been a student of the business. That's part of the reason why everybody who works with him is like, yeah, dude gets it. He is modern. He understands past. He blends them together. He knows exactly what it is. I love that dude.
Billy Starks apparently is injured, so I guess that must have happened after Saturday night because I started watching Ring of Honor, which is showing at 2 hours. And she's doing sit-ups in the ring during Athena's promo. But there's a indie show she was supposed to be on this weekend that they're saying she is out injured. And there is somebody else that shows up tonight that I'm not going to ruin, even though Wrestling Online ruined it for me again.
Well,
somebody shows up.
What does the IWC do best besides
complain? The newsletter has been really, really good about not doing that with taped shows.
Oh, you mean Wrestling Observer?
What? No, Wrestling Online newsletter. It's something I've subscribed since the late 90s. And he always does a great job, but it's now 2 weeks in a row. He's put up an ROH spoiler the day after the taping, and he usually doesn't do that. It's weird. It's not a big deal. I'll tell you off air.
Fair enough.
And Dynamite. Oh, my issue with what WWE is doing right now with the blackouts and the what Dynamite's doing is worse. Whenever there's a curse word, instead of muting it, they just play really loud crowd noise.
That's I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know that that's worse.
It's worse to me because
good.
It hurts my ears.
Well, they both hurt me.
Yeah. Stop it.
And Russ, talk to your people in Tulsa. They ruined the show.
But it's like they just started this. Like you've been letting the same words go for 3 years.
Yeah. New FCC violations. I don't know.
I'm just, what's going to happen in January with Netflix?
You know what? If it's that we're going to hear some things, I'm okay with it. We're adults. Grow up and move on.
Yeah, but there is such a thing as overkill.
Oh no. I'm hoping it's
the point where you're
measured.
doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, that's not what I want. If it's more natural, I'm cool with it. But if you're force feeding it and it becomes as we mentioned before, a Guy Ritchie movie or Quentin Tarantino-esque, don't go that far.
I agree 100%. All right, before we go, I forgot to do the plug during music or movie talk.
Uh-oh.
We have breaking news. If you are in the Dallas area this weekend.
I thought you were going to do this as the plugs.
I meant to do this before movie talk, and I didn't.
No, but I swear I thought you were saving it for the plugs. Okay, everybody who is listening, watching, or anything, stop what you are doing. This is what you need. Sir, the floor is yours.
So last night I called Alex and I was like, I can't text this to you. I need you to hear me when I say this.
Mm-hmm.
I also found out the background to this. I'll tell you later.
Fair.
I got a text yesterday from friend of the show, Adam Conway, who is one of the managers at the Angelica at Mockingbird Station.
One of our favorite theaters on the planet.
And one of our favorite people.
Also that.
Adam and Andrew are great people. I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, hey, man, we've got an event this weekend, and we may be having Q&A. I'm really trying to package this the best way I can and bury the lead.
I'm muting myself. I'm not going to distract.
And he said we needed somebody to moderate Q&As. Are you available? And I said, yeah, I got nothing going on. He's like, all right, I'll get back to you tomorrow, being today, with a definite go, no go. Perfect. Not a problem. So I call Alex and I go, there's a greater than 0 chance that something's going to happen this weekend. And it is happening. If you are in the Dallas area tomorrow night or Saturday night, God love you if you want to do more than one, you will have 6 opportunities to be in the presence of a man who is an experience unto himself, and I will be hosting the Q&A with him. He is responsible for one of the most talked about films of the last, decade or so. The very first time Alex and I ever hung out. And he's actually told this story on the show recently, I think. At least in person, because we've talked about this more than once recently. I took him with me to a screening of a movie called The Room from one Tommy Wiseau. Big Hollywood movie. Because we screened it the week before we screened The Disaster Artist. We have gone and seen it in its purest form since and been in the presence of Mr. Wiseau. Not only will there be 4 showings of The Room this weekend at the Angelica with Tommy Wiseau, who I will be sitting with for Q&A at the beginning, so don't be late. There will also be 2 showings. There's 6 total. So 2 showings of The Room tomorrow night, being Friday night. 2 showings of The Room on Saturday night. In between those showings, there will be showings of his second feature, which I didn't realize released last year. Big Shark will be showing Friday night and Saturday night. You cannot stream this movie anywhere. You cannot get a physical copy of this movie anywhere legally.
Please read the byline for anybody that has seen The Room.
What do you mean the byline? Of Big Shark?
Big Shark.
All right, I got to pull it back up. Hold on. He will be there doing Q&As before all 6 showings. I will be sitting with him at the Angelica. When I woke up yesterday, didn't know this was happening. Your byline for Big Shark. 3 firefighters must save New Orleans from a shark attack. Now, if you've seen the trailer for this, and maybe you have, none of the footage in the trailer is in this film.
The teaser.
Now, there is a new trailer. Yeah, there is a new trailer up. 2/3 of it is 2 guys in a boxing ring. I don't know what's going to happen. But this is going to be awesome. I cannot wait. I am very excited. Come hang out. There's 6, 8, and 10 are the showing times. So it'll be The Room at 6 and 10 and Big Shark at 8. Go to the Angelica's website to get tickets. This is going to, and he's going to have merch there. So if you want to get your Tommy Wiseau merch, he's going to have it there. He is an experience. The man is a ball of energy. And if you haven't seen The Room, you need to see it in a theater with a crowd. Bar none.
Otherwise, I have questions about your sanity.
Alex bought me the soundtrack. I have the sound. I'm still trying to find it. It's in my phone. I have not seen Big Shark. So I will be in the auditorium tomorrow night for sure watching Big Shark because
I wish we had a bigger lead up to reach out to SMU's choir.
Oh, those guys are amazing.
And to clarify for people that don't know, one of the screenings of The Room that we did, the SMU choir or a section of it showed up and sang this.
They basically
I don't know how to describe this soundtrack.
But and that still wasn't my favorite part of the movie. My favorite part was them 3 high trying to reach for the doorknob. Which
to clarify, he means one person got on another person's shoulders and that person got on the other person's shoulders, and they were trying to reach the doorknob of the door that does not shut.
If you need a reason to see The Room, I can't give you a better one. I can't. This is going to be. You don't want to be the person that has to hear about this from your friends. That's all I'm saying.
Great line.
Because this is 6 times in 2 days. I am so hyped for this.
Everybody just remember, Rob is about to become the new Greg Sestero.
Oh, God. Because, see, I originally thought it was Sestero that was coming. Because it
usually is.
And then I found out it was Wiseau, and I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm hoping they're going to let me record at least one of each. Because, holy cow. Also,
I can't wait to find out that Rob is the co-star of Big Shark 2, Bigger Hollywood Shark.
What? No!
How will we save these people from a shark?
And if it happens,
there's land.
If it happens, I ain't telling nobody. None of y'all are gonna know until it comes out, and I'm just gonna watch all of you react.
So insane!
Also, next Friday night, which would be the 16th and 23rd at the Texas Theater, kicking off Dallas Comic Show next weekend, there will be a screening of Flash Gordon with Sam Jones.
Nice.
I may or may not be there. Negotiations are underway.
Gotcha. Okay. I was like, I can't tell if you're just being coy.
We'll see. I might be there. I don't know. But I will be there for Dallas Comic Show next Saturday, and it's going to be a blast because I'm going to actually do he hasn't released the schedule yet, but it's kind of cool what he's doing with this one. Also at that show will be Red Brown, the OG Captain America, who is a wonderful human, and Sean Stasiak coming back. Yes. And some great voiceover artists. Of course, the great Brian Massey, friend of the show, will be there. Erica Muse, friend of the show, will be there. And a couple that we haven't seen in a while that are going to be there. And I can't wait to see them because I haven't talked to them in a while. So Tiffany Vollmer, friend of the show, is going to be there. I need to reach out to her husband and see if he's coming. But yeah, it's going to be a great show next weekend. Come out to the Visit Mall. We'll talk more about that on next week's show. But yeah. This is going to be. I'm so excited. That's her name, right? I'm so excited for this. At one point, am I allowed to yell at the screen? She's unclipped.
I think you need to take notes during your first viewing of Big Sharks so that we know how to interact with this.
Oh, you're getting a phone call on Saturday. Make no mistake.
Why are you waiting for Saturday?
Because by the time I get out of there on Friday, it's going to be like 1 a.m.
That is a good point. Don't call me.
Yeah, because the movie won't end until 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then, by the time I get out of there, it'll be midnight. By the time I get home, it'll be 1 a.m.
Tommy Wiseau just finishes his first or his third Q&A with, "Do you have a room for me?"
I can't. Let's do the plugs. That way, there's a QR code for those of you on the video version. Scan that, get all our stuff. If you're on the audio version, thank you. Website is www.theclubhousepodcast.com. Find out everything you need to know and some stuff you don't. Follow us on your social media. Everything except Twitter and TikTok are the Clubhouse Podcast. Those two are Clubhouse Show. Just look for the logo so you know you're in the right place. You can follow me on your social medias if you would like. Everything is Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I'm Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, please go to prowrestlingtees.com/the-topcast. We got a lot of different shirts, a lot of different designs, and a lot of different color options within those designs. If you happen to be an artist and would like to share a design that you think would work well on our store, you will get paid for every shirt that sells. Or if you just have suggestions about the store, you can reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com.
The official fact checker for Sooner Gator Productions is Don Ford. You can follow him on Twitter at Igbunu, IGBUNUUU. You can also email him for an opportunity to have us at your local establishment doing a live remote show. We love doing those. Might have a couple coming up soon. Keep your eyes open. He is Don at theclubhousepodcast.com. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob at theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall's on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. Our normal show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific is your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, pop culture, and pro wrestling. So until next time, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob. Clubhouse is closed, and we want to send our dearest out to Brittany Palmer, who also had a loss in her family this week.